Hi guys, and welcome to a Back for Blood review. Now, in this video, I'll be doing a pros and cons section. I'll be doing the similarities to Left 4 Dead because this game is very similar, if not in some terms, almost a carbon copy of Left 4 Dead. Now, or you can even say World War Z in a sense, because World War Z could also be a copy in its own way of Left 4 Dead. Similar game style, but all three are equally different. In this video, like I mentioned before, I'll be showing the differences. I'll be showing what I liked about the game, disliked about the game, uh, pros and cons that this game has going for itself right off the bat, and what we are to expect really from this game. Now, first things first, and just a simple comparison, if you look at Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, World War Z, and you look at Back 4 Blood, they are all similar in their own ways. However, having played all of them and beaten all of them, uh, as far as replayability goes, I see this similar, if not more, replayability in Back 4 Blood than I do than Left 4 Dead 1 and 2. To me, this completely crushes World War Z as far as just how the game overall works, as far as a more recent comparison. Now, for the rest of the video, I'm kind of going to push away World War Z because this is more of a mirror of Left 4 Dead. Now, the guns in this game were pretty great. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. That there were some pros and cons to it all. First things first, you can ADS down the sights. That was my biggest gripe about Left 4 Dead, but they try to keep it as bare as possible. But then again, Valve being Valve, that's kind of their theme, right? On top of that, for Back 4 Blood, you ADS, like I was saying, you can customize weapon parts further than just a laser, right? You can add lasers, you can add suppressors, you can add compensators, extended mags, uh, fast mags in a sense. They have the stock magazine. Uh, Sometimes it would be either a laser and then there's a muzzle attachment. Now, that was for not only your pistols, your machine pistols, some of your SMGs, assault rifles. They even had some sniper rifles other than just uh, the one standard hunting rifle. They had a Barrett M95, which I believe is a bolt action version, which is how they portrayed it in Back 4 Blood at least. All the guns had their you can unlock further camos, which I will show here. You can go through and customize all these before you go into game because they have this little camp area. This camp is like your staging area, or for the game, it's kind of like your home base, right? All of your missions come out of here, so you do replay quite a bit of the same maps, but everything is different. Um, but you get all these different types of guns, which I'm hoping they do add more guns and see the mechanics. As far as reloading and seeing how all those things turn out, it was really nice to see. My only gripe that goes as far as the guns is that there are some, or most of the guns, as you will see in real life at least, most guns for as far as assault rifles or some of your SMGs start off with 30 round magazines. Now, if you have a base magazine and a lot of these guns starting out, it's like 20 rounds. Some guns, like for instance, like your SCAR RLs, right? I can understand a 20 round magazine in that because that's pretty close, if not the normal for it. However, what M4 is going to give you a 20 round magazine? What AK-47 is going to give you a 20 round magazine? As far as it looks exactly the same as the 30 rounders do in real life. That's kind of annoying to me, but there's just the little things. If you're not too bothered by it, then it's a simple overlook. And you do kind of get over it later on through it with the attachments and all that. And once you get to higher tier attachments, it helps things move along. Everything has a tier system. The guns have a tier system. The attachments have a tier system. There are some other things that are kind of tiered, but those things are definitely color coded and are supposed to be more looked at as a tier. Now, what is kind of annoying to me is that you can have, let's say, an uncommon rifle, but then you find or an uncommon M4, we'll say, but you down the line will find a rare M4. Now they both have slightly similar stats, but obviously the rare is going to have better damage output or whatever like that. If you have certain attachments that you want to carry over into your new gun, you can't. And that to me is something I hope they fix because that is super annoying. The only way you can exchange out an attachment is if you find one on the ground or you buy one from the box. You get these boxes throughout each of the beginning of the raids, or however you want to look at as far as the level goes. Um, but you get these boxes, and you also find boxes throughout each of the levels that you can unlock. Now, like I said, only way you can flip out attachments is through finding another attachment. So sometimes you'll get a better gun, but you're not going to have the attachments you like. So that's really bothersome to me. And I hope they address that as far as being able to flip them out. And if there is a way to address it, then drop that in the comment section below because myself and a couple of buddies have not found a way to how to do so yet. Now, to start off each game, you kind of have a little bit of a complex starting, which is like the biggest thing to kind of like set you back in this game, I'd say. It's not just like Left 4 Dead how you just go into every level's the same, and you know what to expect. One thing I do like that Back 4 Blood has done is that you have these like director's cards.
There's a new world out there, a ridden world, and you're going to need all the help you can get.
Okay.
That's where the card system comes into play. Stack your deck with cards that can upturn the tide of battle. Player cards make you stronger and can give you the edge you need in your fight against the ridden. And believe me, you'll need it, as the director will be playing corruption cards to try and stop you. At the beginning of each run, and every time you enter a safe room, the director will modify and randomize gameplay with corruption cards. This ensures that no two playthroughs are ever the same.
Once the director's cards are understood, then you have to go through and pick up a couple of your starter deck cards.
Each player has their own deck of player cards that can help themselves and their team through buffs, boosts, damage resistance, and more. After you know what you're up against, you can attempt to counter the director's corruption cards with your own player cards. Your active cards appear on the hub screen. Once you draw cards from your deck and play them in your hand, you're locked, cocked, and ready to rock. Then it's time to kick some ridden ass. Want to jump right into the action? Just select a preset deck or dive in and create your own. Select from a wide variety of cards that support your playstyle. From medic to melee and everything in between. Player cards can also be gained in-game and from vendor cases. Whatever you want to do, it's all in the cards. But choose wisely, as you'll draw your cards in the order you assembled your deck. At each starting safe room, you'll be able to draw up to your max hand. Just remember, forward thinking is the foundation of a good strategy. In summation, use a pre-built deck or build your own. Counter corruption cards with player cards.
Now, after that, then you go directly into the standard Left 4 Dead pre-game where you're inside the safe room. You're just waiting. Once everyone is ready and after they're picking their starter cards, then you're able to pick up whatever guns are on the ground or on the table, heal yourself inside the room, and most importantly, access the loot box. The loot box will have those random generated guns in there with some good attachments, some not. Some attachments are in there to buy. All the ammo types you can buy to fill up your supplies and your equipment, like your grenades, flashbangs, molotovs. You have med kits, bandages, and the bandages are just a lighter form of the med kit. It's not just to stop a bleed. And you have some other equipment, which you will discover as watching some of my gameplay and or playing for yourself. A lot of the equipment has multiple different uses, but is all very forward. There's not many things about this game that just like sidelines you and you're just kind of like, huh, about. One of the takeaways I will kind of put out there is that when you are playing with additional people, their auto matchmaking is really nice. You find games really fast. But if you get put put with people that you don't have good comms with, or they're just not to your kind of playing level or your skill level, depending upon which difficulty you're on, it will make it very difficult. It's almost sometimes better off to have regular bots that are, kind of useless in an average person than having players, because the difficulty does get ramped up as actual human being players are added in. So kind of think of that when you're going through, and you will see that you can't just run through this game, and it is difficult at times. I found myself several times throughout just playing on the recruit difficulty with my buddies that we got killed, whether it just be there's the two of us or there four of us, and we're just getting wrecked. Some of it being because of the director's cards that were at hand, but that really dictates a lot of it right there. Lastly, to kind of break it down as far as like a pros and cons list. Overall, I was very satisfied with the game. I will be playing it pretty regularly, so if you ever, this video doesn't just do it for you, or you're just interested in seeing more gameplay, always feel free to hop into my Twitch channel. The links and description will be in the description box down below. However, for the pros and cons list, the pros are that it had a very long campaign compared to like Left 4 Dead 1 and 2. I feel like those campaigns are pretty short-winded and you could get through them fairly easily. This campaign was pretty lengthy, and with the DLCs that they guaranteed us, I hope there's a lot more to come with it. It had plenty of weapon combinations, and I also hope they add in more weapons and kind of polish them up with the attachments, like I was saying. The changing levels was really nice. I love that. There was no game-breaking glitches. That is something you see very often in games nowadays, to where if a game drops and it's very, very hyped up, it has a lot of game-breaking glitches because it wasn't, tested enough, or the development was pushed way too fast. But this game was very polished when it came out. And you find games really fast. That is like another high on the list, right, for me. You always find extra people to play with right away, whether it's they stay with you or not. That's kind of depends upon how you guys play together. Finding games really fast, and I would say like around like 30 seconds to a minute, you're gonna be in a game pretty regularly. But that's it for the pros list. The cons list, I really don't have that many, but I would say there's two cons that are kind of big for me, and they kind of blend into each other. If you have useless players on your team, it can make the game very unenjoyable because they're not talking to you, and they're just kind of like jumping ahead, and you're just wasting your time at that point. But the bots on the same time can be helpless, but they don't ramp up the difficulty. Those two kind of blend in together. And like the last little thing, and it's just for me because I do look into firearms a lot more than some other people. But as far as like the magazines go and some of the little stuff with like flipping out the attachments and all that, that kind of annoys me. And it almost makes it to where it sticks you with a gun for far too long. And then when you can't start finding ammo for that specific gun, then you naturally have to flip it out. But then you can't drop your attachments. You can't even make a gun that you found on the ground that you have ammo for uh, good with the attachments that you have at hand, even though the attachments are interchangeable for that. But those are the two real big cons. Thanks again, guys, for stopping in, seeing this tutorial. It really means a lot. If there are other tutorials you guys need done, let me know. Again, like you see in the bottom right-hand corner, you catch me on Twitch, where I live stream usually in the evenings for about 2 to 3 hours. My times are really spotty right now. It's just between work, kind of hard to nail down a time. Uh, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook for all my latest updates. Thank you, and have a good one.